Well, Southern Ontario, May 25th today. As has everyone, I imagine, for the last year and a half now. The whole COVID issue. Scary stuff, right? Especially in the first 6 months. Quick overview. These facts should be all known, but quite evident on a global level that the fear mongering was exacerbated hugely. You know, bodies piling up in Italy. You know, at first China said no problem. We don't even have the Wuhan flu. Then they said, oh, we're taking around mobile incinerator units and burning our peasants. And then very shortly after, they said, oh, no, yeah, no problem. Our economy's open again. Well, what do you believe? They are communist China. The latest claims out of India, same deal. They're burning bodies in the street. Which way do you flip your phone around? What news do you believe? Either they're burning bodies in the street or not even close to it. What do you believe? Here in Canada, I think it's undeniable. Our federal government played up the fear mongering. It worked really well for Trudeau to, well, he wants the eternal crown. Whether you buy that theory or not, our federal government certainly left us over this time period with a confusing array of information. This way, that way, change the rules, this, that, the other thing. Started out, it made sense at the time. Social distancing and all these social measures to um, slow the curve on the first wave of the pandemic so that our ICUs and hospitals and etc. weren't overwhelmed. That made sense. Um, Even if a lot of their measures had some strange logic in it, but it did make sense. Well, a year and a half later, the statistics are in. We didn't have a first wave. Maybe their measures worked then, you might argue. But then there was a second wave and a third wave and a fourth wave, and those didn't show up in the statistics. Again, hospitals, ICUs, and alas, mortalities, or I shouldn't say alas, the mortalities didn't add up. Those are irrefutable figures. The pandemic never blew up to be what nobody wanted it to be. And yet, our federal government, again, perpetrates fear. Here in Ontario, the provincial government's been accused of being no better. Our premier, Doug Ford, happens to own the big sticker company that makes all those walk here stickers and social distance stickers and all these other stickers. By all accounts, he's made and is making a fortune off of it. So, seems to me to be inarguable. Our government, again, both on a federal and a provincial level, has exacerbated and is perpetuating the COVID to their own ends. So, how can the public not be scared of the COVID virus? I was. Who wouldn't be? Global pandemic. This is Mother Nature. Wow. So, our government said, well, when the vaccines come out, that'll solve all the problems. Until then, we have to keep up all of these social measures, the destruction of our economy, people's businesses, lifestyles. Wow. Livelihoods, I should say, as well as lifestyles. Wow. And again, the waves didn't happen. And so the public, myself included, I'm no different than anyone else. Okay, a vaccine. This will be good. We need this. So the vaccines came out a few months ago, and a lot of people took it just to stop being scared anymore. You know, we're faced with it daily. It's in our face daily. We're faced with it. Whose mind does it leave? especially again with inconsistent and unreliable, untrustworthy statistics. Whoa, what's real and what isn't? So we're all affected by that fear. Now, a lot of people, I think, took the first shot they can get because they feel I don't have to be scared anymore. It's understandable, it's human nature. Turns out, in hindsight, the AstraZeneca vaccine, some bad stats were coming out of the UK, and Canada, with reluctance, banned its use. Now, I'm coming to my point. I've been watching on the internet to see if anybody, and I haven't seen a one person say, oh man, I rushed out, I got that AstraZeneca vaccine. Now I'm scared. I don't know. Did I do the wrong thing? Is it going to make me sick? Sicker? Is it going to kill me? Am I going to have long term health effects? I can't seem to get a straight answer out of the government. They don't seem to have any conclusive answers other than it's banned. Am I supposed to get a follow up shot? If so, is it going to be the AstraZeneca again, or is it going to be I'm mixing breeds? I'm going to get the Moderna the second time. What's going on? No real answers, right? So why is nobody out of the who knows how many tens of thousands of people got the AstraZeneca shot? Well, I've always thought it goes back to fear again. And I come to the point where, to my personal experience, over the weekend I unthinkingly reposted a meme about, the jab and sheeples. And I was attacked on the internet by an old friend of mine. He actually threatened me physically. And my first thought, of course, was, well, am I going to respond to that ungentlemanly decorum? What the fuck is that all about? And I thought, well, wait a minute, this guy's not stupid. Well, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. So we hashed our way through that. I admitted, I stand corrected. I shouldn't use insulting memes to express my opinions on the vaccines. I said, yeah, you've got me dead to rights there. I'm at fault. I apologize. So we got through all that. Meanwhile, holy fuss and caboodle, man, people just dove in. And it's all and I hate to use the term vaxxers and anti-vaxxers. It creates division. But, well, for lack of a better term, I'm going to use them. So all the pro-vaxxers just dove right on me. The fact I've made the comprehensive decision never to have children. I'm an irresponsible citizen. My lifestyle, the fact I don't employ people anymore. Whoa, wait a minute. So having made the peace with my friend, I just stepped right out of it. I was like, whoa, I could see this coming. The people who have had the vaccine, rather than admit, whoa, wait a minute, maybe I acted in haste, maybe I should have done more homework. I'm trusting I'm going to be okay, but there are still uncertainties. Alas, I'm still arguably more or less scared than I was before, or neither. I'm still just as frightened because I'm still in the same place. I don't know what's going on. But no, they rise to their own defense and attack again, I hate to use the term anti-vaxxers, people who haven't been vaccinated. Now, and again, I think the people who have had the vaccine are now a bit frustrated and perhaps frightened that, it's come to light the manufacturers don't claim it does anything except potentially lessen the effects, the severity of the symptoms of the virus. It doesn't stop you from getting it, and it doesn't stop you from spreading it. No one is claiming that, not even the politicians who are pushing it. And yet, the pro-vaxxers, when shitting all over the anti-vaxxers, have the attitude of, well, I took one for the team. you're not taking one, you're not a good corporate citizen or whatever. You're not taking one for everybody else. Well, there's lots of people who argue the exact opposite of the coin. By taking an experimental vaccine that hasn't been used before, you taking the vaccine are putting everyone at risk. Infinitely arguable. No facts in on it yet, other than the aforementioned facts that it doesn't stop you from getting or spreading the virus. So you can't really take that stand that a pro-vaxxer who got it's a good model citizen and the guy who didn't isn't. That argument's simply not valid. And the, the worst of it is our country's in a mess as it is. You know, the West is ready to separate. Quebec has formally stated they want to separate. The Trudeau government, I don't know. They're certainly working towards their own ends without much interest towards us, the working peasants. So now it's creating another division amongst us at the last time we need it. Wow. And it's going to get worse. It's not going to get better. People are going to dig their heels in, and the pro-vaxxers are going to. It's almost inevitable that they're going to back passport. What do they call it? Vaccination passports. Well, I got mine. I did my bit for society. I deserve to have my freedoms back. You didn't get your shot. You don't deserve your freedoms. No, that's wrong. They're the same ones who always take the defense. It's my choice. I took it. Well, then is it not the other guy's choice not to take it? Doesn't really make sense, does it? No, it's going to get worse before it gets better. I don't know what's going to happen in Canada this summer. Mainstream media expresses and downplays the protest rallies that are happening all across our country. Tens of thousands of people out in the streets. They call them freedom rallies. These people aren't responsible. They want to throw off their mask. Well, some of those people are out there protesting that, but a lot of people are protesting the bigger picture. And this is what we need to be concentrating our efforts on, no matter what your opinions are, the bigger picture. This country has some escalating problems. And arguing amongst ourselves about vaxxers and anti-vaxxers, it's the worst thing we can be doing. So, what do? Follow everything closely. Try and make an informed decision on the vaccines, sure. But it's hard to get any trustworthy data, really, isn't it? I checked recently, just briefly before I started this, on CTV News, the provincial latest update on the COVID situation, all along, and the public follows it blindly and blithely. The case count of positive test results for COVID in Ontario on a daily and weekly, monthly basis. This is what the provincial health system responds to. All they give you is the case count. They don't say how many people got tested. And again, they don't say, well, our ICUs and our hospital levels and our mortality rates are all still, well, actually good, happy. There's not nearly as many people sick and as dying as we'd all feared in the first 6 months. And yet they continue to present us with, well, incomplete statistics. If you say there were 2,000 last week and there's 1,800 this week, well, how many got tested? They're not telling us that. They're feeding us self-serving propaganda. And again, buying into it just feeds the social division. What do we do about it? I don't know. They're not going to stop doing what they're doing. By they, I mean the provincial and federal governments. That's for certain. But we've got to wake up as individuals, as citizens, and say, we got to stop fighting amongst ourselves. You can drive yourself crazy researching lipids, Formula 102, spike proteins, blah blah blah. Whether the shot works or not, formulate your own opinion. Don't shit on the other guy who takes the other side, because that's not serving any of us any good. Good luck to us all. Our country's in big trouble, people.